Hi everyone, I am Alchemistic. Welcome to my channel. If you are new to me, thank you so much for joining me. And if you're returning to me, thank you so much for returning. And if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you'll get notified when I release new videos. My channel is about manifestation, law of attraction, and spiritual topics. If that's for you, like I said, consider subscribing to me and like and comment the video if this video resonates with you. So what I want to go into today is a story that is dear to my heart. It's a manifestation success of my own that a few of my clients have requested I do a video on, as well as some people that I'm just now getting to know in a few different forums and are needing this type of help. So I want you to use my story as a guideline of what is possible, even if you think a situation is completely impossible. And we're going to talk about how I went from homelessness to not homelessness, and then almost homeless to 6 figures. So stay tuned if that's for you. And if you'd like to work with me, the link to all of my services is in the description box, as well as a new ebook that I put out. The link is in the description box as well. So let's go ahead and get into this. So I am not really structuring this video for a reason, because I want it to be as authentic as possible. I want to tell you my story. I want to tell you kind of what happened with me so that you can relate it to yourself. So first, let's go back to well over 20 years ago, when I was in my teens. And I was about 16 when I left home and went on my own. My childhood was not the greatest. I grew up in severe poverty. There was a lot of abuse and toxicity in my household. So I left at 16. And then I saw myself homeless. I had nowhere to go. At one point I was couch surfing, and then at another point, I literally had nowhere to go. And I was sleeping in a car. I was going from restaurant to restaurant, offering to clean up for a plate of food. But deep down, I had this inner knowing. And this was back when The Secret was out, and I knew about The Secret. I read the book, I saw the movie, and so I thought about that, and I said, well, that's all great and all, but how is that going to fix this situation, right? Because they don't really talk about this type of situation in that. And I said, well, the only thing that I can do is think the best, right? Think the best. And I said, everything is working out exactly how it should. I'm not homeless. I at least have shelter, right? And I was thankful for that because people had less than me. So I was in the mindset that everything was going to work out exactly how it should. A few days later, I went to this German restaurant and offered to clean up for a plate of food. And he said, better yet, do you want a job? And I said, sure. So he hired me as a waitress. And maybe he knew. And he said, where are you staying right now? And I was honest with him, and I said, in a car. And he said, didn't you walk here? I was like, yeah, the car's not running. And he said, okay. He said, well, you can stay here. He had a little studio apartment inside of the back of the restaurant. And he told me, I'll just take $200 a month out of your check for your stay. And I said, okay. So I stayed there and I worked there for a couple of months, got on my feet. And that man was a blessing to me. He ended up having a health condition and wanted to go back to Germany. But the time that I worked for him got me back on my feet to where I could get my own place again. I was able to get my car running. I got my own place. And then I was fine after that. Then more opportunities came in because I was already in the assumption that everything is working out in my favor and everything is working out exactly how it should. Okay? So then I was on my feet for quite some time. And then when I was 19, I was working for myself. I had multiple businesses at 19, making multiple six figures. Unheard of back then because I was working for myself and online. It started with e-commerce on eBay and a few other things. And then the crash in '08 happened. And I lost everything. And at the time, I had my son, I was 19, almost 20. He was about 2 years old. Going on 2 years old. And I lost everything. And I ended up staying with my adoptive mom for a little bit. And then she was staying in government housing. So again, background is that my family was severe poverty, like I mentioned. So she was staying in government housing and I was not supposed to be there. They found out that I was there. They found out me and my son was there. And they gave her a week to get me out or she would be evicted also. And they said, technically we could evict you. But they gave her a week. She was freaking out. Everybody was freaking out. Like, what are you going to do? Now you have your son. You can't go back to being homeless again. And I said, no, it's going to work out. Everything's okay. I knew deep down, I had this assumption, right? That everything was going to work out exactly how it should and everything was going to work out in my favor. 3 days later, I was going to a client's apartment complex because at the time I was cleaning houses and cleaning apartments out for move-outs for landlords. Because again, I lost my businesses, I lost everything in the crash, right? So this is what I was doing to make some type of money. And I told her, I was like, I need the payment up front because this is my situation and I need to find a place to stay within the next few days. And she said, no problem. So she paid me. I cleaned out this 3-bedroom apartment for her. And then she came back to check it out. And she said, actually, I've got another one for you. I said, okay. And it was a 1-bedroom apartment. She said, go ahead and clean it out and move into it. She said, your deposit and your first month's rent is covered. I just want you to clean it out. And I moved in the next day. I cleaned it out and I moved in the next day. Yes, it was a 1-bedroom apartment. Yes, I had my son, so I gave him the bedroom and I set up the living room for me. But point is it worked out exactly how it should, right? So then I went from that, because remember I said I went to multiple six figures multiple times. I went from that situation and the crash in '08 to starting businesses again and starting a career that I didn't even have experience in. Within months, again, making 6 figures again. A next to impossible situation, and I do not come from money. I come from poverty. I came from where we didn't even know if we were going to be able to keep the lights on. Lights were always off. Gas sometimes was turned off. Eviction notices. Right? Didn't know where my next meal was going to come from. Sometimes my only meal was at school. I went from that to homeless, 6-figure businesses, homeless, almost homeless, to 6-figure businesses and career. And that's where I've been ever since. I have not struggled since then. So when I tell you, you can literally change everything based on what you assume and hear and what you say, because what you say out of your mouth is what is true. Okay? You have to fill it with conviction that no matter what the 3D shows you, you are going to be okay. Like I said, it took 3 days. Now, my situation's a little bit different because I had that conviction so much that I said, no matter what, it's gonna turn out the way it should. I didn't know how. I didn't know when. And honestly, the next day after my mom got this news, there was 3D circumstances that were in my face. Setbacks, right? I had clients, that had booked cleanings with me call me and cancel the next day. And that's money I needed to get a new place, right? So when I tell you, it does not matter what your 3D shows you. It does not matter, okay? So if you are in a situation like this, and I've had a few different people reach out to me, single mothers facing homelessness, right? People in general that are facing really hard times and they're seeing their situation as impossible. Nothing is impossible. Not one thing is impossible in your reality because you are the creator of your reality. Whatever you assume, think, and feel has to present itself in your reality before your actual shift into the reality that you prefer happens. Those negative circumstances will show back up because, as Neville Goddard says, that's the old man, right? That's the old man not wanting to die. But the truth of the matter is as long as you stay within your assumption and your conviction that no, it doesn't matter because it's still going to work out. That's exactly what I did, right? My clients were canceling with me. And I said, no, it doesn't matter because it's all going to work out. 2 days later, right? 3 days total, but 2 days after my clients were canceling is when that one client offered me the apartment. And I was in that apartment for almost a year. And then I met my ex-husband. So you see how everything works out exactly how it should. And after that, like I said, I flourished. I made more than my ex-husband for the entire marriage we were together. So when I tell you, it does not matter what your 3D is showing you. Stay in the conviction that no matter what, I am protected. No matter what, everything works out in my favor. No matter what, the universe has my back. I don't care how you phrase it. Phrase it how it works best for you. And watch your reality shift. When people talk about manifestation, I don't really like that word, but there's no other way for me to say it to you, for you to understand it. But you're not manifesting anything. You're not creating anything, because creation is finished. Here's the truth, okay? You are God, you are source, you are the universe, you are higher self, I don't care what you resonate with, having a human experience. And your version of reality is what you assume. There are multiple versions of reality, infinite numbers of reality. And any desire you have means that there's a reality that exists that has that desire. So all you're doing when you stay with your conviction and stay in your assumption with unshakable faith, you literally shift to that reality. Right? That's all that happens. You are not creating it because creation is finished. So your current reality is finished. Right? You can't change your current reality. You're not changing anything. You are shifting to a new version of reality. And I have a whole video on this on my channel if you want to check it out about Mandela effects and glitches in the matrix, right? That explains the shifts. I've literally seen things shift right in front of my eyes as I was manifesting. You can get to this point if you're open to it. I've been in this space for over 20 years. I've been consciously manifesting for over 20 years. I just said I was around 19 when this happened while I had my son. I'm pushing 40. And I know people are going to look at this part of my face, and even if you saw the rest of my face, I do not look like I'm that age. I have a video on that as well if you want to check it out about age reversal and physical changes. My assumption is that I always look 25. And everywhere I go, people assume that my son is almost 20 years old. He'll be 20 in March. And they think that he's my brother. And as you see, I'm moving my face, right? There's no Botox. There's no fillers. This is just my assumption, is that I look a lot younger than I actually am. So again, everything is an assumption. Everything is your beliefs. This is why no matter what your beliefs are, it does not matter, right? You could believe that if you drink a certain water, that you were always healthy. As long as you drink it with conviction, that will be your reality. You could put a certain moisturizer on your face and say that you never age, and then that will be true. You could say with unshakable faith that your SP is madly in love with you no matter what they're showing you right now. And then that has to present itself. You have to shift to that. Now the old self, the old man, will show back up to test you, right? To test your faith. But as long as you stay with the conviction of what comes out of your mouth, right? When you're speaking, and what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what you're assuming, stay with it and watch your reality shift. Let me know if you have any questions about this. Again, if you would like to work with me, the link to my services is down below. I've got testimonials on my Instagram. If you want to check those out, you'll see the highlight that says success stories. You can check out the results so far with some of my other clients. People are loving my texting membership. If you want to check that out, limited spots with that, but I do offer other services as well if you need that additional help, but really you don't. As long as you listen to my videos, and it's always my assumption that everybody that watches my videos resonates with them and this helps them, you can literally have any reality you want. You just choose it. You become the person that has it, and then it has to show up for you. So, I'm gonna leave you with that. If you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to comment below and I will respond. But it's always my assumption that no matter when you're watching this, it could be day or night, you're gonna have the best day or night of your life. And I truly hope that that's the case for you. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.